What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be matchmaking the most exciting division in the UFC, in my opinion, the welterweight division. So, first matchup, this one's obvious. Jack Della Maddalena, the new champion, is going to be fighting Islam Makhachev. I think this fight is going to take place um, probably anywhere from October to November, you know, somewhere around that time. Um, I think this is a better fight than Islam versus Ilya. I know a lot of people are disappointed that we're not getting Islam versus Ilya, but I think Jack is a tougher matchup because he's a little bit bigger than Islam. He's an amazing boxer. He's the only guy who I think is going to consistently outstrike Islam on the feet and be able to land on him consistently. That is how high level his striking is. I think in a fight with Ilya, Ilya would be hitting air until he might eventually land one big shot. But I think Jack, with his reach and his height, he's going to be able to land on Islam more consistently. He's going to be landing jabs, body shots, calf kicks. He's just such an amazing striker. I don't think Islam has any chance striking with this guy to have the success that we've seen him have before. And Jack's grappling is fucking amazing. Take him down. You can take him down. So what? His scrambles are amazing. He gets up from every takedown. Bilal shot takedowns against him. People act like Bilal just decided to strike with him. No, he had to strike with him. So this is why when people are saying, oh, dude, give Bilal so much credit. He's tough. He had a good fight. People are creaming their pants because Bilal had one good fight in his career. No. He struck with JDM because he had to. There was no other option for him. When Bilal takes people down, he holds them down. He's not really like a guy who shoots a ton of takedowns. He usually gets them and holds people down. So Jack's performance against him was very impressive in that aspect because Bilal could barely take him down. And when he was able to, Jack got up very quickly. And I think it would go the same way against Islam. And I don't think Islam is as durable as Bilal. I think he's better, but I don't think he's as durable. I think he will get TKO'd in this fight. So I'm very excited for this. Jack is my favorite fighter in the UFC. And to see him get an opportunity to beat a name like Islam Makhachev, dude, I'm in fucking heaven. Okay? This is, I knew he'd be the champ, but to see this is just insane. So, yeah. But on to the next fight. We've got Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, dude. They got beef. If they make this fight, we might get that unreleased podcast. That'd be pretty cool. And, two former champions, both big names in the division. Bilal used to be like the most universally hated UFC fighter, but now because he beat Leon Edwards and freed us from that curse, which I will forever be grateful for, he freed us from the Leon curse. People like this guy now, and he did have a good fight versus Jack. He was in there, he was tough, he was taking shots, he was landing some good shots. He did all right. I mean, he got pieced up, but at the same time, he's not a striker. So he did okay in that fight. And Kamaru Usman, I was counting him out completely against Joaquin Buckley, and he showed me that he still got it, even with those wobbly cobbly knees. He had the monkey on his back, and then after that fight, monkey's off his back now, so he's back. He looked great in the grappling, but I will say Kamaru Usman's striking looked fucking horrible, dude. He is so slow. When he was striking, it was like two uncles fighting at a barbecue over the grill, dude. That's what it was like. His striking was terrible. But yeah, I would like to see this fight. As far as the matchup goes, you can immediately like just get rid of the idea that either of them will win with grappling because they're both that good at grappling. So we can get that out of here. And I actually think it'll be a war because they're both very tough. And they're both well, not both. Like, I think Bilal is a lot better on the feet. I think he would beat Kamaru by decision. Um, I think he's a better boxer. I think he would be throwing way more volume. He's got much faster hands, and Usman is slow and stiff, and he doesn't move his head at all. He's got no footwork, and you can hit Bilal unless you're JDM. So what? You hit him, he comes forward. He's a fucking marauder, dude. Bilal is a marauder, and I think he would beat Usman by decision. I think it'd be a good fight, and if you beat Usman, you're right back in the title picture. So I want to see this matchup. This is a good bad blood matchup. We don't get a lot of those nowadays for some reason. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, book this shit. If they don't make this, like why? Why would they not make it? This is so obvious in your face. Make this fight. So yeah, I hope they do. But on to the next one. We've got Sean Brady versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, this is a number one contender fight for sure. Now I know Shavkat, he's a little bit brittle. He gets a bunch of injuries, so I don't know if they'll actually be able to make it. So maybe this is wishful thinking, but I would love to see this fight. Um, you know, After that fight with Ian Gary, I think we've seen some holes in Shavkat's game. He almost got submitted. So I would love to see how Sean Brady does in the grappling. And I would also like to see how he does in the striking because I think Shavkat is a lot better on the feet. He's more dangerous. He will fuck up Sean Brady in the clinch with knees to the body, elbows. Shavkat's got a good jab. He's throwing spinning kicks, spinning back kicks, spinning wheel kicks. He's got a good right hand. The only thing that Shavkat kind of lacks in the striking is his defense. His defense is not the greatest, but Ian Gary didn't really land a lot on him. But especially in the Jeff Neal fight, his chin was on a silver platter. But he's fighting Sean Brady. When Sean Brady's fighting, when he hits you, it makes a squeaky sound because there's just no power, and he's got the boxing of Ronda Rousey. So I think Shavkat would fuck him up on the feet, but Sean Brady is good at mixing his striking in with his grappling. He's very good at that, and I would like to see how Shavkat can deal with that. Will he be able to stuff the takedowns? And if he gets taken down, will he be able to prevent Sean Brady from, getting his back or getting on top, getting a mount? Will he be able to defend submissions? Will he be able to get up? It's just such an interesting matchup, and I really want to see it. I think it'd be a good fight. I would go with Shavkat by TKO. I think he would be able to defend the takedowns, and I think in the clinch is particularly where he would fuck Sean Brady up, especially with the knees to the body. I just have a feeling that Sean Brady would just fold after a couple good knees to the body. So I would go with Shavkat by a third round or fourth round TKO. I think he's a particularly bad matchup for Sean Brady. But at the same time, if he gets taken down and Sean Brady is able to get into some dominant positions, he's cooked. So I would love to see this. And you can never count Sean Brady out in a fight. Even though I'm saying I think he'll lose, you can never be that confident. So I would love to see this. Number one contender fight. Whoever gets this is a lock for a title shot. So yeah, hopefully they make this. On to the next one. We got Mumblemouth, Mr. Mumblemouth Edwards, former champion of the division. If you guys forgot, it happened. He did win the belt, and he defended a couple times. Never forget Leon Edwards. But yeah, Mumblemouth Edwards versus Michael Morales. Now, I really don't know who else Leon would fight. Sorry for the pauses, guys. I know you guys don't know the pauses because it's on OBS, but yeah, my mic is fucked up. But yeah, I don't know who else Leon would fight at this point. He's lost two in a row, looked terrible both fights. And, Michael Morales is on an amazing win streak. He's an amazing prospect. So I think this is a good step up in competition, because Leon, he's a great striker. It's just like there's no danger with Leon. I know he knocked out Usman. That's like 1 in a million. I I genuinely don't think that would happen more than twice if they fought 100 times. So, yeah, but there's just no danger. So I feel like Morales would be able to just walk him down and chin him. But Leon does have good distance management. He can shoot takedowns. He's got some pretty decent wrestling. But I would definitely go with Michael Morales to chin him. Morales, even though his defense is not good, he swings crazy wild hooks with his chin up in the air and his hands down. Is Leon Edwards really the guy who's going to capitalize on that? I don't think so. I think he would just back up to the cage, throw in his little calf kicks and his teep kicks, and eventually I think he would get cracked by a big right hand from Michael Morales with those fucking 80-inch arms. This guy is fucking huge. Michael Morales is one of the biggest welterweights. I think he's got the longest reach in the division. He's got crazy power. He's very athletic. So I think he would bully Leon Edwards and back him up to the fence and chin him. Probably out cold. I'm just going to be honest. I feel like he would knock Leon Edwards out cold brutally. I think it'd be sad to watch if you're a Leon fan. All right. I lost my train of thought because my mic stopped working again. Again, it happened again, dude. Jesus. All right, but yeah, I think Leon, he just kind of sucks. He's been figured out. There's no danger on the feet. You can walk him down and bully him. Um, and that's about it. I just think he would get chinned by Michael Morales. On to the next one. We've got Colby Covington versus Gilbert Burns. Now I know Kevin Holland has been calling out Colby Covington. There's some beef there, but it's just not a very interesting matchup in my opinion. I would rather see this, two old washed guys versus each other. Loser retires. Winner sticks around for maybe one more fight, one more payday. And I think it's a pretty interesting matchup. Colby Covington is not going to be able to out wrestle Gilbert Burns. It's not going to happen. So he's going to be forced into a striking match. And I think he's better than Gilbert on the feet, but he would be at a huge power disadvantage. So I'd probably go with Gilbert to win this by decision. I think it'd be a pretty close fight. I think Colby Covington would be landing more volume. He'd be landing some nice kicks, some little, pillow punches. But I think Gilbert Burns would crack him a couple times, probably drop him, but not be able to finish him. And I'd go with Gilbert to win. I'd have to watch some of their fights back to think about it a little bit more. But, I think this is a good matchup. They've been in the rankings for so long, they haven't fought each other. So might as well make this just to see who wins. I think at this point Gilbert would win. I don't know what Colby's gonna do to him. Like, I know Gilbert is kind of chinny, but is Colby Covington the guy who's gonna, crack his chin? I don't think so. But on to the next one. We got Buck versus Cook. I know Buckley lost. I still want to see this. I don't care that he lost to Kamaru Usman. He got out wrestled by Kamaru Usman. Okay. It's sad. But that fifth round was fucking amazing. And yeah, I don't think Ian Gary is going to be able to take him down and hold him down consistently like that. He's not going to have the same kind of physicality advantage that Usman had. But I think he is so much better on the feet than Usman is. I think this would be a very competitive striking match. I would go with Buckley to catch him because I think Gary would have some trouble because Buckley is a lot shorter than him, but he's got a reach advantage. So I think he would be able to catch Ian Gary leaning back from a punch, just backing up, crack him on the chin. I think he'd be able to knock him out. But at the same time, I could see Gary staying in kicking range, landing his jab, getting some takedowns, and winning a decision. I don't think he would get a finish. At this point in his career, Gary is not going to be getting finishes on anybody. I know he had that close submission attempt versus Shavkat. I don't see that happening again, especially not versus Buckley. What the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of here, CC. Go. Get the hell out of here. All right. But yeah, I want to see this fight. They don't like each other. Um, Ian Gary's wife was fucking feeling on Joaquin Buckley at the fucking weigh-ins. So, Gary's got to fight for his fucking honor, dude. Because if that was me, I would be so incredibly sad and embarrassed. But somehow he isn't. And he's got an annoying little fucking pea head. I want Buckley to knock him out cold. I'm going to pick against Ian Gary every fight he has. Even if I don't think he'll lose, I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick the guy to beat him because I'm manifesting it. I don't like him. I fucking hate Ian Gary. I know, I respect him because he steps up on short notice and he's been doing some impressive stuff, but I just can't get myself to like him. So I'd pick Buckley to beat him, and I do legitimately think that, Gary sometimes he fights like he's got a super long reach, but he doesn't. I think Buckley could capitalize on that. I think, he's really fast. He's short, fast twitch guy, but he's got crazy cardio. And I think his grappling defense will get a lot better after that Usman fight. That was probably going to be like a reality check. And he's got such a huge power advantage. All it's going to take is one shot from Buckley. And I think Gary will have problems fighting a shorter guy who can match his reach. So, yeah, I would love to see this fight. But on to the next one. I've got Carlos Prates versus Kevin Holland. I think this is a fucking banger, dude, because while Carlos Prates is very powerful, extremely powerful, he's the most powerful. Most powerful. Is he going to chin Kevin Holland? Think about it. Kevin Holland, he's been dropped, like twice? Once from a headbutt. Number two, from Mikhail Oleksiejczuk at middleweight. And Mikhail, he can crack, dude. He's got a lot of power in his hands. And I think, on the feet, I think they'd both be landing on each other. There's no question Prates is a lot better. But I just think this is a good fucking fight, dude. I think they're going to scrap. I think it'd be a war because I think they're both durable. I don't think either one of them is going to get a knockout. It'd be a 3-rounder. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to gas out. There's not going to be a lot of grappling in this matchup. Probably none at all. And I think they're going to be exchanging kicks and punches, tagging each other up. I think it'd be a good fight. And I would go with Prates to win pretty dominantly. But I still want to see it just because I think Kevin Holland's got a pretty good chance in this fight. And I really just want to see if Prates is capable of knocking out somebody like Kevin Holland. Because if he is, then we can fucking forgive him for that shit show versus Ian Gary, and we can move on. So I think this is a good fight. And I love to see it. I hope Kevin Holland wouldn't say no to this. I know he wants to fight the old guys, but if he's gonna go on a run at 170, you gotta fight somebody, number one, near you in the rankings, and number two, who's actually good. So not Colby Covington. But yeah, I hope they make this. But on to the next one. I've got Jeff Neal versus Randy Brown. Now Randy Brown is on a nice win streak. He's on a 1-fight win streak, but the fight against Brian Battle was so shitty and it was so close that I don't really count it as a loss. I look at that more as a draw. And I think he's a very tough matchup for Jeff Neal. Neal is going to have a lot of problems getting past his reach. Randy Brown, he's fucking huge. He's got such a long reach, and he uses it well. He's got great jabs. He's got good straight punches. He uses his teep kicks very well. But Jeff Neal hits fucking hard. We've seen Randy Brown get knocked out by Jack Della. He got knocked out by Vicente Luque. He got dropped by Chaos Williams in their fight. So I would like to see how both of these guys do, and I think at this point Randy Brown does deserve an opportunity in the rankings. He's getting a little bit older. I think he's in his mid-30s, like 32, 33. So it's time to step on the gas. Give this guy a ranked opponent. Jeff Neal is ranked like number 11. Um, unless Jeff Neal shits his pants and just stops fighting like he did versus Ian Gary. I think this would be a great fight. And it's a very tough matchup for both guys. Right now, I genuinely have no idea who I'd pick, but I want to see this. I think it's fireworks. But on to the next one. These next two are kind of just like little bonuses for the video. I got Vicente Luque versus Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe just got a very impressive win against Ange Loosa, who's never been finished. But Phil Rowe finished him in round 3. He was down probably 2 rounds, and he came back and he got a brutal finish over Ange Loosa, who's went the distance with JDM. So I think it's about time we give Phil Rowe another big opportunity. I know he lost to Neil Magny. It was a split decision. It was a terrible fight, but Vicente Luque is not looking good recently. But he still wants to keep fighting. So at this point, if they're gonna keep him around, they gotta have him fighting an up and comer. And Phil Rowe's not really a prospect, but after that Ange Loosa performance, I just think he deserves a good opportunity. If you can beat Vicente Luque, then you deserve a fight with a ranked opponent. So yeah, and I think this is a 50-50 fight. They both hit very hard. Phil Rowe is kind of slow. He's very stiff on the feet. His defense did not look that great versus Ange Loosa, but he's very tall. He's got a very long reach. He hits very hard, and he's got some good boxing. And I don't think Luque would have that much success in the grappling, but Ange Loosa did, so maybe Luque could take him down. I just think this is a good test for Phil Rowe. Right now, I'd probably lean with him just because I think Luque is just on the decline. I know I picked him to beat Kevin Holland, but after that performance he had, I can't pick this guy to win. So I'd like to see this. But on to the last matchup of the video. I've got Andreas Gustafsson versus Carlos Leal. Now this is a fucking heater. Andreas Gustafsson is going to walk forward with reckless abandon. Carlos Leal is going to do the same thing. They're going to meet in the middle. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. And one of them is going to break. So, yeah, I think there's not much more I need to say. If you don't know these guys, go watch their fights. Carlos Leal is an incredibly dangerous striker. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He's clearly juicing up if you look at him. Just look at the guy. He's juiced. Andreas Gustafsson, he's got no fucking defense, but he's got power, he's got durability, he's got cardio, he's fucking dangerous, he's got grappling, he's got everything except defense. So, I would like to see this. I think this is a fucking banger. But let me know what you guys think of these matchups. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.